Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Janelle and I upload new videos every Wednesday. And in today's video, I wanted to share with you guys this makeup look right here. So in today's video, I wanted to show you guys how I achieved this look using all of MAC makeup products. So if you guys don't know, I do work for MAC Cosmetics. I'm actually one of the managers at my store. I've been with the company for 3 years, and I just felt so compelled to do this makeup look because with all of the chaos that's going on, MAC has been so great to their employees. Literally, no matter what your position is, no matter if you are a full-time employee or part-time, they have just been there for us and given us this time to stay safe. They have just been so amazing. So I just wanted to celebrate them and use all of their products. I couldn't be more thankful to work for a company that really cares for their employee and is really doing a lot to help the situation and everything that's going on. And it's funny because I remember seeing a post that was like, pay attention to how companies treat their employees during times like this, because it'll really show like their core value and ethics. This has literally made me like grow a newfound appreciation for my job and for the company that I work for. Like, I'm so thankful. So you may have your mixed feelings about MAC. You may love them, some people hate them, but I feel like after everything that's going on, this really opened my eyes and I'm truly just thankful and appreciative. So I wanted to share with you guys some of my go-to MAC products. I even put on all black so I could feel like I'm going to work. I literally never thought I would miss going to work and selling makeup, but I do. So yeah, if you guys want to get ready with me and see some of my must-have MAC makeup products, then definitely please keep watching. If you do happen to enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every Wednesday when I upload. I love you guys. I hope you all are staying safe. And without any more rambling, let's jump into this makeup look. Get started. So I already started off by moisturizing my skin. Don't mind, I just did self tanner, so if this looks patchy and my hands look patchy, my hands look crazy because I've been washing them so they're so dry, so the self tanner did not go on smooth. So let's just act like we don't see that. I'm gonna start off by spraying my face with my MAC softening lotion. This is something that everybody can love and use from MAC. It is so good. This just helps like soften the skin and give extra hydration. It has CLG extract and vitamin C in it, which helps with like dark spots. I also did some research and I heard that seaweed and CLG extract is like a natural exfoliant for the skin, which makes sense. I feel like that is probably what helps even up the skin tone. It leaves your skin so soft and hydrated. So sometimes if I put my moisturizer on like hours before and then I do my makeup and I don't want to add more moisturizer, but I just want my skin to be more supple and bouncy, I'll just spray this and it just instantly refreshes your skin. Following that, I'm going to use my favorite primer of all time. Aside the fact that it's MAC, I swear by this stuff and I think so many more people should use it. If you have an issue with your makeup breaking apart in your T-zone and like nothing holds up, this is the one primer that helps with longevity, and it is the MAC Skin Refine Zone Primer. It does make your makeup bulletproof. If you do have dry skin, I don't recommend using this at all because it is a very mattifying, smoothing primer. And if you have oily skin, you only want to use, I'm not kidding you, like a pea-sized amount. Like honestly, see that right there? That's all you want to use for your whole face. But that little bit, I swear, just makes everything bulletproof. I like to focus it more on my nose and cheeks, on my chin and underneath because that's where my makeup moves, and then in between my brows and above my brows. Yeah, I think I'm going to do foundation first today. So I'm going to be using my MAC Face and Body Foundation in C5. And then to give more coverage, I'm going to mix it with my MAC Prolongwear Concealer. But what's great is that the MAC Face and Body is super lightweight and hydrating. So literally anybody can use it. Even if you're oily skin, you can use it because it's more of a gel base. And as long as you set it with a powder and use a more mattifying primer underneath. And then if your skin's dry, your skin will love this too. It's very, very light coverage, so it's gonna look like skin. That's why I like mixing my prolongwear concealer in there to give the coverage that I want. So I'm just gonna start by striping some on my skin. And the reason I do that is because I like to wait for it to get tacky before I blend it out, because I find that that's how I get more coverage with it. And what's also great about this foundation is you can layer as much as you want and it doesn't get cakey. And I'm taking my prolongwear concealer, which I also love for under the eyes. This one is a lot lighter than that foundation, but the two colors together I feel like blend really nice with my skin. Now I'm just gonna buff that in using my MAC 170 brush. You can see it's like giving a little bit of coverage, but my skin still looks like skin. Oh, we have like a stigma of only having like super cakey foundations, but literally like this is the most natural foundation ever that gives your skin the most beautiful glow. So do you guys see how like luminous and like not cakey my skin looks? One of my favorite foundations ever. Next I'm gonna be cream contouring using a contour that I use in most of my videos, and that's the MAC Studio Fix foundation stick in NC50. Now this is supposed to be a foundation, however I love it for cream contour because it blends out really nice, but it doesn't blend out to where it like just disappears in your skin. And I also love the color of this for me for contouring because it's not too warm, not too cool. It's like the perfect bronzing slash contour. So I'm gonna take that with the same brush that I used to buff up my foundation. I'm just taking a clean one because I want to use the same one that I used for my foundation to buff up my concealer later. And I like this one because it has an angled tip too, so it'll be really good to get right in my cheekbones. And I'm just gonna start patting that on my forehead first. Sculpt these cheekbones. And then also work it underneath of my double chin. Just kidding, but my jawline. And then I'm gonna take this MAC 191 brush and use that for the sides of my nose. Now I'm taking the 170, the one that had the foundation on it, and I'm just gonna buff out the edges a little. I'm going to take my MAC Prolongwear Concealer again in NC30. I mentioned this in a previous video, but I honestly forgot how bomb this concealer is. It doesn't crease. You get beautiful coverage with it. So what I like to do with this concealer is I'll first apply it with a concealer brush, like any sort of flat top brush. This is my MAC 252S brush. To buff that out, I'm going to use the same brush that I used to buff out my foundation. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes. For the most part, I normally use a beauty sponge to buff out my makeup, but whenever I do use a brush, I do really enjoy this one. Honestly, MAC brushes are just hands down some of the best brushes, and they definitely last the longest. Don't get me wrong, I love my Morphe brushes. I love like e.l.f. brushes too. But when it comes down to like quality and the longevity of your brushes, MAC is the one brand where if I purchase a brush from them, I literally know it's gonna last me 15 plus years. I literally still have the first ever MAC brushes that I ever purchased like back in 2012. So they definitely hold up. Take an oldie but a goodie. This used to be my jam back in like 2013. The MAC Prep and Prime pen in Light Boost. So it's just like a yellow under eye brightening pen. This is beautiful whenever you want like a very bright under eye highlight. You could even use this by itself because it does give you a little bit of coverage on its own. But what I like to do, especially during allergy season when my eyes are extra puffy, is I'll focus this like right here just to further brighten up like the center of my face. You can even add a little bit more up against the contour. I'm actually going to buff that in using my stippling brush. Obviously, you don't have to do all of these steps. I'm just showing you all of my favorite MAC products all together. So now I'm just going to quickly set underneath of my eyes before I bake. And to do that, I'm going to use my MAC Shape and Shade Sculpt palette. I'm going to take the yellow color in the palette as well as the more pinky color here. And I'll also apply some more of this again after the bake. These powders are so like finely milled and smooth. So before I bake my under eyes, to set the rest of my face, I'll use my MAC Studio Fix foundation powder. I have talked about this before in so many videos. This is one of my favorite all over setting powders. It's beautiful on its own, but it's also beautiful on top of a foundation. And I love this mixed with my more like luminous foundation because this is going to have a more matte finish. So it'll balance out the foundation for my skin type since I'm more combination, like I can be dry and oily at the same time. If your skin is more dry, another beautiful powder from MAC is our Mineralize Skin Finish. This one reminds me so much of like the Charlotte Tilbury powder that everybody talks about. This is gonna set your face without making it look matte or heavy. It has like a soft luminosity to it, but not like glittery. It's beautiful for honestly all skin types. I just want something that's going to be a little bit more matte because I know my skin can get a little more oily throughout. And then also before I bake, I'm going to quickly bronze up my skin using the MAC Studio Foundation Powder. But instead I'm going to use the shade NC45. This is obviously a lot darker than my skin. I love using these darker Studio Fix foundation powders for bronzers because they're so smooth. They give you the most like smooth, bronzy look to it. And then I love that shade NC45 for my skin tone because it's a perfect amount of like warmth without being too like orange. My favorite brush for contouring slash bronzing is my MAC 109 S brush. It's just like the perfect amount of denseness but still fluffy to like buff the product in there. I'm going to take the same little like brush that I used to cream contour and dip into the bronzer and then lightly set over where I have that cream contour. Now to set and bake my under eyes, I'm using one of my favorite loose powders from MAC, and I talked about this in my last all MAC favorites tutorial, and it is the Studio Fix Perfecting Powder. So this isn't a transparent powder. This is more meant to like set all over your face. I just get it in the color light to use it as like a brightening baking powder, and it gives such a smooth finish. It gives you a little bit extra coverage without looking cakey. Now that everything is like cooking underneath in my eyes, I'm gonna move on to the eyeshadow, and the bake will also help catch any fallout. To prime my eyelids, I'm going to be using my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. This is such a great eyeshadow base. Now, to be honest, most days I just use concealer for eyeshadow primer because I'm lazy. The MAC Prolongwear Concealer is a great concealer to use as eyeshadow base because this one doesn't crease. It'll lock the eyeshadow in place. It's not like a super greasy concealer either, so it's not gonna make the eyeshadow slide or anything. And a little bit of this paint pot goes a long way. You do not need a lot. You don't wanna use too much. And then now I'm just gonna set my eyelids with whatever powder's left on my powder puff. So for shadows today, I'm gonna be using my like custom eyeshadow palette. If you didn't already know this, MAC sells like each of our individual shadows in refill pans, so you can actually create your own palette. You can do like a 4 eyeshadow palette, a ×15 eyeshadow palette, like a one like this, or we also sell cases where you can do like double, so this would be 30 eyeshadows. You can also, we sell refill blushes, so you can do like part eyeshadows on one side, part blushes, customize it however you like. But what I love about this, holy shoot, what I love about this is that the eyeshadows come out to only $7 per like insert, versus if you buy them separately they're normally $18. So I'm going to start by taking the shade Teit. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's one of my favorite just like soft brown transition colors. Take that with my MAC 224 S brush to sweep that in my crease. Now, a couple of years ago, MAC did change all their brushes to be synthetic so that they're like easier to clean and don't fall on you. I was so upset about it because I used to love the natural hair bristles. However, once I learned how to work with the new synthetic fibers, I actually enjoy these more. And they're not just any sort of synthetic fiber. They actually made them to manipulate the fibers of natural hairs. So you still get really good quality. It's not just like a drugstore synthetic blend of brushes. You can tell when you get them. It still blends out the product really nice. It's just a little softer. gonna extend it out toward the edge of my brow. I'll add one more transition. So next I'm gonna take the color Saddle by MAC. It's like a beautiful, warm, it's a little bit deeper than the last color. I'm gonna take that with my MAC 217 S brush. Not gonna lie, I do miss the old MAC 217, but this one is good, at least for like packing on your outer crease color. So I'm just gonna like pack it on the edge and angle it upward and then sweep it in. By the way, most of these are like my go-to MAC transition colors. I'm not gonna be able to use all of them in the video, or else I'd use like 5 million different transitions, but these are some of my favorites. And then I always like going back to my first blending brush after every time I go in with a darker color, just so that everything fuses together really nice. So now, deeper in my crease, I'm gonna take literally one of my favorite shadows of all time. It's the color Swiss Chocolate. It's such a beautiful, very like warm red undertone brown. I'm gonna take that with this same MAC 217 S brush and start by stamping it in this outer edge. I'm gonna focus it on the last third of my lash line, like really close to it, and then I'm gonna angle it up and out. And what I love about this brush is that it has that pinched like front part, so I can pick up the product on that edge and like stamp it, but then I can also use the nice like flat part to buff it out and blend it. So next I'm taking the color I'm Into It. Such a gorgeous like burgundy color. Now this color looks so scary, but when it's on the eye, it literally goes on looking like a brown, but then the undertone just makes your eye pop so much more. So if you're somebody that's like intimidated by color, don't be. Telling you, like once you put it on, it does not look as bright and scary as it looks in the pan. And I'm gonna take that with my MAC 221. It's like a pencil slash blending brush. It's super small, so it lets you get right in there. And again, I'm just kind of stamping it on my lash line, and then I'm gonna bring it up into my crease. Next, to chisel out my crease, I'm taking my soft ochre paint pot and my 195 brush. I love this for cutting the crease because it's tapered, so I can get right in there and it like fits my eye perfect. So I'm just coating both sides with the brush, and then I just stamp it right in the inner corner and then just drag it down. And I'm only doing about like half of my lid, not the whole lid. Alright, so for the front part of my eye, I'm going to take one of my favorite colors ever. It is called Gold Bit by MAC. It's just such a pretty, just like front of the eye highlight. And then for the brighter inner part of my eye, I like taking that same like tapered brush just because it fits in the inner corner perfect. And I just wipe off the paint pot. And then I'm just going to spray my brush with Fix Plus. It's just such a pretty inner corner, like brightening color. So now for all over my lid, I'm going to be using one of my favorite MAC pigments of all time. I've used this in a couple of my older videos, but it's the MAC Rose Pigment. So if you guys have never used MAC pigments, they are stunning. They have so many beautiful colors. Here are some of my favorites here. So Rose is one of my favorites. Tan is actually one of the pigments that I used on my wedding day. And it's like a champagne color. Melon is also so pretty. It's like a peachy gold tone. I have so many of these. They just go on the eyes so smooth. You can use them on the eyes, the lips. You can mix them with clear nail polish. But they just give such a pretty like sheen and foiled look to the eye. I'm gonna take that with the same flat brush. I love this for all over the eye, or my MAC 242 brush I also love. I just feel like for shimmers, it packs them on the best. Gives you the most color payoff without giving a bunch of fallout. And then I'm gonna lightly mist my brush with Fix Plus. The Fix Plus just kind of helps like activate it and help it go on super smooth and foiled. To smoke out my lower lash line, I'm gonna take some more of the color Swiss Chocolate. This will also make the eyes pop. take a fluffier brush with the color Saddle, which was the second transition color we used. There's a little bit more of an orange base to it. And I'm going to buff out the edges of the Swiss chocolate that we just put. And if you ever want the most beaming inner corner highlight, take the shade Nylon by MAC and just come right in here. See how like blinding it is? And then I'll like feather it up. It just gives such a bright inner corner. And I'm also going to lightly tap it at the highest point of my brow. Soften it up just a little bit, just so we don't blind people too much. So next I'm taking my favorite eyeliner of all time. This is Costa Riche by MAC. Just the most gorgeous red brown. So I'm just going to put this in my waterline to smoke it out a little. And that's just taking Dip Down by MAC. It's like the most gorgeous warm gel liner in brown. And I'm just going to stamp that along my lash line. And then to do that, I'm using my MAC 212 brush. And next, since I don't want my wings so harsh, is I'm going to take the color I'm Into It with a small angled brush. I'm just going to smoke out the outer edges of my wing. I'm just going to go on top and smudge it out and up. And then I'm going to take a straight edge and some more of that color, buff it out a little more. And then this will help create a guide so I still get that winged out effect. So I'm going to fill in my brows using my MAC Fluid Line Brow Gel in True Brunette. This is similar to the Anastasia brow pomades. I do find that these are a little bit creamier. And I love this color for my brows because it's a little bit lighter. It softens them up. Then I'm going to add hair-like strokes using my MAC Shape and Shade Brow Tint. This will give it like a microblading effect. Then I'll set it using my MAC Brow Set Brow Gel. The one mascara though that I do love from MAC for a specific purpose is the Extended Play. This one is bomb for giving those like super long Kardashian lower lashes and like separates them and it doesn't flake or anything. Do you see how long it makes them? Like, do you see the difference? And since the wand is so small, it really lets you get in there and like work those lower lashes. I'm gonna apply my favorite blush of all time. I talk about it in every video, and that is the MAC Mineralize blush in the shade Dainty. What I love about the Mineralize blush line is that it melts into the cheek. You get a soft glow, but it's not glittery at all. So if you have large pores, if you have more oily skin, this isn't gonna look scary. Don't be like scared by it. It literally just melts in, gives you such a smooth finish. This one and Warm Soul is another popular one that's in the same Mineralize line. I've talked about that one before on my channel. That one's really good. It's gonna be more of like a peachy natural skin tone. Burnt Pepper is another one that's beautiful on deeper complexions. And then to highlight my cheekbones, I've already talked about this so much. I love the MAC Hyper Real Glow palettes. You can kind of like mix the colors together if you want to deepen it up or have it brighter. They also work great as shadows and they just melt into the skin really nice. Give you that glow without looking like too chunky or just too much. It's like the perfect balance. My favorite brush to apply that with is the MAC 137, just because this uses it on the skin really nice. It doesn't allow it to go on too intense, but it gives you like the right amount. I like to swirl them all together and then just focus it mainly on the highest points of my cheek. And then I like to take a small definer brush. This is the MAC 223 brush. And I take the lighter color in the highlight palette and use that down my nose. Alright, and then for lashes, I'll be applying these ones by Amazon. I used to think this was a gimmick, but the MAC Prep and Prime Lip Primer really does help lock and keep your lipstick on all day without feathering. So I'm just going to apply a thin layer of that. And then it also helps it so that the lipstick doesn't like settle in the little crevices on your lip. So the one I'm going to be using today is the color Hover. It's just a nice warm brown. For lipsticks, I'm going to be using one of our like most staple lip colors, and it is Velvet Teddy. It's the regular matte formula, The regular matte formula stays on all day, but it doesn't dry out your lips. And then on the edges of my lip liner, since I wanted to have a little bit more definition, I'm going to take the color Cork by MAC. But it's just such a pretty like golden brown lip pencil. And then next I'm just going to take the color Myth. It's a super light peachy nude color, and I'm going to place that in the center. And then one of my favorite just universal nude glosses from them is the shade See Through. And this is the lip gloss formula. What's great about these lip glosses is that they stay on for a long period of time and they're super glossy. They are very thick and sticky though, so if you don't like sticky, cream sheen lip glosses are beautiful too. These are super glossy, but they're not sticky at all. They're so lightweight. See how pretty that is? Isn't that such a pretty nude lip? And then last, to lock everything in place, if you haven't tried this, where have you been? I'll be using the MAC Fix Plus setting spray. It has glycerin in it, which will help with like keeping your makeup nice and hydrated, vitamins and minerals to nourish the skin, and cucumber extract to help with like redness in the skin. This is beautiful before your makeup and after it. It doesn't necessarily help keep your makeup on longer, but it helps melt it all together. So a lot of times I'll use this with a longer lasting setting spray like this Maybelline one. I can't use a setting spray like this though on its own, because then I feel like my makeup doesn't melt together and look like all like one, because these are gonna dry out your skin a little bit more. So it's good to use something like this in unison with a longer wearing. Y'all didn't tell me how to lip gloss in my tea. Alright you guys, so that wraps it up for this video using all of my go-to MAC makeup products. I really hope that you guys enjoyed escaping with me and just playing with some makeup. If you did enjoy this look, then definitely give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every Wednesday when I upload. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!